I always like week 4 in the coaching program because what happens in week 4, if parents have worked hard on the instruction routine, what they've done is they've built a working relationship with the child that helps the child to know how to respond. We're building that responsiveness to authority, the cooperation. And inside the heart, what's happening is the child's learning how to give up their agenda and respond to something outside of themselves. They're learning how to emotionally disconnect from something they're working on. If they're emotionally invested with their desires in their heart, then they're learning how to pull out of that. The instruction routine is great for that. It increases a sense of obligation about what's right and wrong. And so a lot of things happen as we practice the instruction routine for 3 weeks, moving from compliance to cooperation to contribution. It does amazing things inside this child's heart. So the instruction routine is worked on first, and then we work on correction, a whole different department. And so in the correction department, what we're doing is we're working on the break, the positive conclusion. And this helps children who are off track. If you're off track, you need to know how to get back on track. And there's a system for doing that. It's called repentance. We've developed these techniques to try to help children move in that direction. So if we've been doing these things and we're enhancing relationship and we're doing visioning with kids, we are ready for week 4. Now, in week 4, I tell parents, if you've done all these things and you've worked on them hard, you want to keep doing those because they're building the foundation in a child's life. But now we can tackle any challenge that you may be experiencing in your relationship with your kids. Anything, we can deal with it. And so now is when we want to deal with, and you see a lot of these represented in our group now. And if I have forgotten to, in your group, give you specific solutions, now is when we bring in some different ideas. So if we're going to deal with anxiety in a child's life or fears, then now is when we can bring in some solutions to help children know how to do that. Or we can deal with anger. If the anger is still brewing or we have a problem with that, now we can develop a specific plan for anger. We can deal with sibling conflict. We can deal with focus for the child who has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. We can deal with lying now. We can also deal with electronics challenges that we have. So, but we can't, if you jump in any of those things too early without these underlying skills having been developed, then often you run into more stress, frustration. It just doesn't work. That's why when we have parents start, where do you want to go? They identify, here's what I want to do. And we say, okay, great. We're going to be working toward that, but first we're going to work on some initial things. Now, as we can, we're tying into those to their main goal. And many times they're trying to develop cooperation, which is great, but we're tying into the main goal as much as we can. But now we can say, okay, now we're going to look for strongholds. That's what we call them, strongholds in a child's life. And we're going to move strongholds and we're going to try to set the scene for God's grace to create a breakthrough. And parents now engage in more training with their children in very specific laser-like ways in order to enhance that. And the primary tool we use in week 4 is the T-chart. Now, the T-chart can be used just as a T-chart or a suggestion sheet, but the idea is we're creating a list of very specific things that we're going to do to face the stronghold. If the stronghold is anger, then we're going to be looking for ways to help a person know how to manage their emotional energy when it starts to overcome them. If we're dealing with lying, we're building with integrity. We're trying to help children know how are you going to face the temptations when someone or even your own desires lead you toward dishonesty. If we're working with electronics, we're developing very specific plans to help children manage their electronics in a helpful way. So the T-chart then becomes this great tool for putting things together and actually moving in a direction. I think you'll find it really helpful. Now, I have lots of ideas, and this is where we have a group that you might want to consider getting involved in after the training's over. That's our continuing education group, and that training is in Thriving Kids Connection. ThrivingKidsConnection.com. You need to know what it is. You can look at it. There's a cost to being involved in Thriving Kids Connection, and the cost is $29.95 a month. But let me give you a code that you're not going to find other places. But you have a code that is 25 for FOR Life. 25 for Life allows you to get into Thriving Kids Connection for $25 a month because you are a coach. sometimes there are parents who are in there trying to learn, and they're asking questions. And so that's where we're giving specific solutions, heart-based solutions that have application to anything going on. It's in Thriving Kids Connection that I post a lot of infographics and solutions that we're developing, and we'll continue to develop those and interact. So last week I posted a question in Thriving Kids Connection that was about why do young people rebel from a heart-based approach, and I identified 3 things that come together developmentally all at the same time: curiosity, which we encourage from youth, belonging, and I can't think of the third. Oh, independence, which we encourage from young. So when independence, belonging, and curiosity all come together inside of a child's heart, sometimes they're attracted to rebel against parental values and so on, and develop their own system and their own friends, and that's where. So we have solutions for addressing that. And so in ThrivingKidsConnection.com, you'll find a continual engagement about these things. If you'd like to be in that closed group, you can go ahead and sign up for it anytime you want. But that's where we're going to find some things. Now, I'm taking some things out of there to give you now during the coaching program. For example, I already shared with you the all of the infographics, a package of 15, 16 pages, however it is. And the reason I did that was because someone in the group said, I'm a big picture person, and I like to see the whole picture. Can you tell me what that is? Now, most of the time, I do not give this out. So, but I do give it at week 4. I'll send the whole package to a parent and say, hey, now that you've got the first 4 weeks down, then here, take this and see how all of this is fitting together. Because I think now it's much more appropriate. In the first week, I want the focus. I don't want them to see all the big picture. I want to focus on getting the instruction routine down. But there's occasionally a parent says to me in the beginning, I like to know the whole thing. Where are we going with this? And I'll say, okay, look, I'll send you the whole package. But remember, the instruction routine is important. So I've already sent that to you. Normally, I would not have sent that to you until week 4, but I did in this case. I'm also going to send you I'm creating both a video for electronics, which is already created. I'll post that here. And then I'm creating an infographic that's really long that gives all kinds of descriptions of electronic addiction and how we deal with it. So when that's created, which will be before the end of this course is up, I will shoot that out to you in Slack so you have access to that. I'd encourage you to download all these things. Even some of the conversations we're having, I would put those in a special electronic notebook so that you can use them. Turn around. When you're working with families, you can pull out, oh yeah, what was that stuff about ADD? I need to get some of that out again. Or, oh yeah, there was somebody in our training who was dealing with a teenager. I need to pull that stuff out again. And so you'll be able to use it over and over again. Lots of things can happen here. I'm eager to troubleshoot with you now specific challenges that parents are experiencing. Now, there's sometimes when parents haven't done their homework in the first 3 weeks, or they're just not ready to go anywhere. They just need to work more. And so I'll just say, let's keep working on the instruction routine. Let's keep working on the break. And I don't introduce other solutions yet, because if you try to work other solutions when you don't have the working relationship with children, or you don't have plans for correction or instruction, then the internal stuff necessary to make those solutions work isn't there. And so parents then get frustrated and say, oh, this doesn't work. So it's important to have that internal stuff going first before you're able to move forward. So let's see, anything else I want to tell you in this week's material? We're in week 4. I'm looking forward to troubleshooting specific solutions. I really love the interaction that's going on. We got people interacting from different places of the world and different jobs and perspectives on life, and we've got male and female perspectives, dads and moms, we've got pastors, we've got counselors, we've got homeschoolers, we've got all kinds of people interacting, which gives us a great perspective. So what a good group of people that are going through the coaching training this time. I'm really grateful. So remember, biblicalparenting.org, thrivingkidsconnection.com, and I'll shoot some more things in Slack here for you that will help you for this week. Be sure to ask some more questions. I'm glad to be available and help you in the midst of what you're doing. Thanks a lot.